Hello, welcome to Homeopathic Services. My name is Pierre Fontaine. I've been a professional homeopath for 25 years. I've written 2 books, one about what I specialize in, which is autism, One Heart, One Mind, available on Amazon. And my first book, which talks about homeopathy in general, with 38 different cases, cases of lupus, Crohn's disease, anxiety, you name it. I talk about it. And I also talk briefly about autism in my first book, since I've been specializing in that for about 25 years, since the very beginning of my career. Folks, last week I started to do this video clip. I was going to talk about environmental factors in this illness we all call spectrum, autism spectrum disorder. In my view, and this is only my opinion, which I am entitled to, autism is an environmental disease. It's an environmental disease. I say environment. When I say environmental, it goes from car pollution to medication. I don't think all of it is the cause, but what I mean is anything from the outside of the body. It seems like autism is clearly something that triggers it, something from the outside, and that's why I say environmental. So I was going to do this, but then I had a lot of cases that are doing really, really terrifically well. And this is just case-centric. It is case-centric, and I have this girl who's, we started this case 4 years ago. You see, with these video clips I do on a weekly basis, there are a lot of cases. There's almost 100 cases on these clips here now. And it may sound like every case goes well very quickly from the get-go, and that is not what it is. It may give the impression, but it does perseverance. I want to give a word to persevering parents. Now, I started this case 4 years ago. There have been ups and downs. We've moved in the forward direction consistently, not every single time. I've given plenty of remedies in this case. Okay, again, that started 4 years ago. They haven't done much of anything else beside homeopathy. But I really wanted to give an update on this case that I've never talked about before, so it's just one more. And I talk about this case because I haven't seen her in 6 months. I haven't seen the parents in a while. And the last time I saw them, I changed the remedy. And then they had to move. They moved to another country, very difficult, very, very isolated. And we did a follow-up last week, and that seemed to cap the entire week. And they said, she is a different girl now, altogether. The remedy has helped her so much. Now, this is a girl's case, and it is worth talking about girl autism. Girl autism always seems to be more severe. It is apparently not necessarily so. It's just that girls seem to be able to cope with certain impediments or handicaps in a different way than boys actually do, and that is why there may be less diagnosed autism in girls than they are in boys. That's just an idea out there. It is not necessarily my idea, but at all. But I do want to say that all the cases of girls I see always seem to be more severe, on the further end of the spectrum, rather than, quote, mild. Okay, so the way we started here is she was doing repetitive behaviors constantly. It's not. There are cases here on this in these clips that are similar in terms of presentation. So tapping, repetitive behavior, not talking in sentences at all, not talking even a single word when we first started. She would not even point. From time to time, she might lead the parent from with a hand to a glass of water or something. But there was very, very, very little here that was in terms of consciousness, if you will. In terms of relation, better word, there wasn't anything. She loved to, she would find a rope or a string or a thread in the weirdest places ever. That was really, and she would play with it constantly. I am certain some of you will know what I'm talking about here. Okay, certain. That is a common symptom, or at least used to be very common. Used to see that all the time. She was scared of particular sounds. She would throw things in retaliation. I mean, and extremely high energy, a common presentation. And here we are. Okay, she improved, but not like so much wow. And here she is a different girl altogether. So since I talk about boys so often, I did want to give a chance here. Her eye contact is so much better. She communicates through language, although language is still limited. They still give speech classes. She does make sentences, short sentences. She still speaks. She speaks now when she needs to. Socially, she's doing so well. And I'll tell you more about language, because that is why I wanted to speak about this this particular case. Is because she saw now that the mom is telling me socially she's so well. There's a lot of acceptance. She plays with the other kids. And she's doing soccer and she's doing gymnastics. I'm reading right off my notes, folks. Used to be that she didn't even want any contact with anyone. She eats with others. She shares her food. There's a lot of acceptance and sharing with others. All she ever wanted to do was play with a wire. You see, that's what I was talking about. Today, my husband came home from the office and she got him tea. Isn't that fantastic? And here's what completely, I mean, I started crying. She's doing well in class. She's still 1 year behind, and she went to a friend and she saw a girl was crying. She saw a girl crying. And she went up to her and she said, "Don't cry, be happy." I started crying. It was really, she plays drums really well. I couldn't hold back. It was so good. After what seems so long, you see. The stimming is completely gone. From time to time, if there's a lot of excitement, she might flap, but just a little, very, very, very seldom and very minor. Teacher says she's reading, writing, and doing math. She's more composed. She's at peace. She's not rigid. There are issues where they live where the kids are maybe not as illuminated as we would like them to be. And so there's still some rejection. And she told her mother, she said, "Mama, I don't like the way this kid is looking at me." So she's quite aware. There's a lot going on here. It's just fabulous, fabulous. So they're going to continue with the remedy, but one point here. The great thing about homeopathy, and the great thing now, what I see now in the practice, is that if the remedy is not a bull's eyes, okay, like with a wow effect, what parents come to me with the wow effect, what I've been able to do, if the wow effect is not there with one remedy, like, wow, we see so much going on, it still happens. It can happen. But when it doesn't happen, a couple of years ago, I was stuck. I mean, what do I do? And I came up with this idea, helped with a friend of mine, Jan, that evolution, I take evolution into consideration. So I can roll, in terms of remedies, I can roll with the evolution in a systematic manner, in a thought out, not just throwing one remedy after another, but in a thought out manner. I can go with the evolution of the child. When the child is, for example, in this case, she was not at all interested in anything social. She would be in her corner with the wire or the rope or the thread or the string and do nothing else. But now I am able to really be narrow down once again the remedies in order to follow the evolution and follow the improvement of the child, because the remedy is not going to act forever. The same remedy is not going to act forever. So now that is the great thing in the last 2 years, that I've been able to focus and give a remedy that follows the child, so we can keep on making improvement, much like in this case. So even though she's doing great, I was able to glean in what is going to come up, and gave another possible remedy. And if this remedy stops acting, then we are prepared to move on to the next in a systematic manner, and keep her moving, keep her evolving within herself, and getting rid of this autism spectrum diagnosis. Wow. Well, thank you for listening. Homeopathic services, you will find videos, more clips, more cases, and I will try this week to do what I think, my personal opinion on the environmental factors of autism. I'll give you a how to say, a teaser. It's medication related. Antibiotics, and there's a lot of research actually. I read about 6 papers a day, research papers a day. Look, you can also Google this. I go pretty far, but yeah, the teaser is, I think, given what we know about the body now, how the body is composed, how a human body is made. There seems to be very little doubt, in my view, that autism has something to do with antibiotics. There you go. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.